Last year, Charlotte Flair was once again at the center of the storm. In a recent interview, she made some comments that poured gasoline on an already fiery conversation among wrestling fans. For the haters, it was exactly the kind of thing they didn't want to hear. Charlotte Flair missed almost the entirety of 2024, recovering from a brutal set of injuries, a torn ACL, a torn MCL, and a meniscus tear. With a championship opportunity now on the line, she returned, fought her way through the Royal Rumble match, and earned the chance to complete what many are calling a dream match. At WrestleMania 41, Charlotte Flair is set to challenge Tiffany Stratton for the Women's World Championship, a battle that could elevate her to even greater heights. Already a 14-time Women's World Champion, Flair is just one step away from breaking records that have stood for decades, records tied to her own legendary father, Ric Flair. The number is right there in front of her, within reach. But with Charlotte's return to WWE television, as always, came a wave of criticism. It's nothing new. Charlotte Flair has always been a polarizing figure. There's no getting around that. Some fans believe WWE shoves her down their throats, constantly booking her in the biggest matches, the biggest feuds, and the biggest moments, regardless of whether the fans are actually asking for it. To them, it's repetitive, it's predictable, it's the same story over and over again. Other fans, more understanding of the business side, recognize why WWE is so high on Charlotte. They might not personally love her promos or matches, but they get why the company treats her as a marquee player. Still, a very loud portion of the audience argues that her TV matches aren't the same quality as her premium live event, PLE, performances. Some even go so far as to say her regular TV matches suck, a harsh criticism that has floated around social media circles. In a recent interview with The Independent, Charlotte finally broke her silence on her return, and her words have fans buzzing. For better or worse, here's what she had to say, and why it has rubbed so many the wrong way. "I don't plan on slowing down. That's not why I came back. I haven't held that title yet, the Women's World title, and it's still something new to me. I was the inaugural Raw Women's Champion. These titles match my DNA. Every time one of those is raised, it affects me. I haven't held those two. I haven't slowed down." Simple words, but powerful ones, especially if you're someone who doesn't like Charlotte Flair, because what she's saying is that she's not going anywhere. She's not planning on stepping aside. She's not letting go of the spotlight. If anything, she's hungrier than ever. That's not the message her critics wanted to hear. A lot of people have long believed the only reason Charlotte Flair is in the spot she's in is because of her last name. Whether or not that argument has merit is up for debate, but the fact remains, for over a decade, Charlotte Flair has been one of WWE's most consistently pushed and featured talents. She's in that rarefied air alongside John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes, names that WWE banks on no matter what the public opinion may be at any given time. WWE isn't naive. They clearly see data that the average fan doesn't. Social media engagement, Google searches, merchandise sales, ticket sales, TV ratings. While it's difficult to draw a perfect line from a specific wrestler to a television rating point, the truth is, WWE has access to more comprehensive analytics than we ever will. And when it comes to Charlotte Flair, the company believes in her ability to move the needle. She sparks conversation, she drives attention, she gets reactions. And that brings us to a fundamental truth about pro wrestling: it's all about emotion. Going all the way back to the early days of the business, promoters sought to create emotional investment. Fans would attach themselves to a babyface, cheering them on, wanting to see them overcome the odds. Promoters would then bring in heels to threaten the babyface, to cheat, to betray, to destroy everything the heroes stood for, and fans would pay money to see justice served. Charlotte Flair fits into the traditional pro wrestling mold perfectly, whether you realize it or not. WWE has tried booking her as a babyface, and while the results have been hit or miss, the reality is Charlotte shines brightest as a heel. She evokes emotion, she makes people feel something, and whether that emotion is love or hate doesn't really matter to WWE. What matters is that people care enough to react. When Charlotte Flair is on screen, people are talking about her, for better or worse. The biggest mistake a wrestling company can make is putting out a product that gets no reaction at all. Apathy is the true enemy, not hate. If fans hate a wrestler, that means they're engaged. They're still buying tickets, they're still tuning into the shows, they're still debating online, and Charlotte Flair generates the kind of heat effortlessly. This is the part that some fans miss. They think, well, I don't like her, so why is she in the main event? But that's exactly why she's in the main event. She gets under your skin. She makes you feel something. WWE understands that and leans into it. Now, it's worth acknowledging the criticism that exists. There are fans who don't believe Charlotte's promos are top tier. There are fans who think her in-ring work has declined, especially on weekly television. There are valid critiques to be made, but the overall picture is that Charlotte Flair is a proven draw, and WWE knows it. This brings us to the current WrestleMania season. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton for the Women's World Championship. A lot of people are already angry that Charlotte won the Royal Rumble and is once again in the title picture. They're even more frustrated by the likelihood that Charlotte could defeat Tiffany Stratton and become a 15-time world champion, edging closer and closer to Ric Flair's mythical 16-time world title record. But at least this time, WWE has made an important creative adjustment. Charlotte Flair is a heel. Recognizing the audience's natural tendency to root against Charlotte, WWE pivoted. They saw that fans were more eager to support Tiffany Stratton, a rising star with charisma, athleticism, and a strong connection with the audience, so they made a move. They aligned Tiffany with Trish Stratus, one of the most beloved female wrestlers of all time, helping solidify Tiffany's position as a babyface. This was smart booking. Rather than fighting the tide, WWE went with it. On paper, who makes a stronger heel, Charlotte Flair or Tiffany Stratton? The answer is Charlotte Flair, without a doubt, so they leaned into it. They embraced Charlotte's natural heel energy and built the story around her being the dominant, entitled, arrogant challenger, the ultimate villain standing in the way of Tiffany's moment of glory. Of course, it doesn't mean Charlotte won't win. In fact, there's a very real chance that she does. But if she does, it sets up an even bigger moment for a future babyface to dethrone her. It creates a longer-term story arc. It gives fans a villain they truly want to see fall. So, if you're someone who despises Charlotte Flair's constant presence in the main event scene, take a step back. Think about the bigger picture. Would you rather WWE force another awkward Charlotte babyface run, where fans are supposed to cheer for her but don't? Or would you rather them embrace the reality of the situation and use Charlotte's heel energy to elevate a new babyface? The answer is obvious. Yes, it's easy to complain about Charlotte Flair being back in the spotlight. Yes, it's frustrating to some to see the same names in the biggest matches year after year. But at least in this case, WWE is using that frustration productively. They are turning Charlotte into the ultimate obstacle, the final boss that fans desperately want to see defeated. That's pro wrestling at its core, and whether you love her or hate her, Charlotte Flair understands that better than most. In the end, you don't have to like Charlotte Flair, you don't even have to respect her, but if you're talking about her, if you're tweeting about her, if you're chanting during her matches, positive or negative, then she's already won. WWE has already won, because in pro wrestling, reaction is everything. And right now, Charlotte Flair is still getting the loudest reactions in the room.